My name's Kathy A, and busy at work and everywhere else, and all these things going on. I want to make sure to get my faves and flops out for this month because I am downsizing and decluttering my collection for the giveaway. Easter Sunday, the 21st. So I know that you're anxious to see what's going on. It's been a fun month. Did a lot of traveling and a lot of visiting. The Budman and I went to the Mystic Aquarium where he bonded with the beluga whales. And we got to see the dinosaur exhibit, which is always my favorite. And we also spent some time down in New Jersey seeing the granddaughter in her play Spam-A-Lot, which is the Monty Python thing. The family visit with them. And then we also went to the Vermont country store and I filmed there. They were really kind there, letting me film whatever I wanted, and I said whatever I wanted to. I released that video earlier. My maple syrup video is on the end of that as well. That's definitely, it's sugaring time, so this is a great time. Anyway, I thought I'd show you a few things that I bought that I liked, some things I didn't like. Mascara I did not enjoy. That is this one. As you know, I went to the Vermont country store and I purchased several things from there. And I didn't review everything that I purchased because that video is already longer than most of our lifetimes. So I didn't talk about it then, but the Tangi Mascara, it's a good basic mascara. There's nothing special about it, I just thought it was fine. But I thought it made a crispy kind of dry down. And by that I mean, when you put it on initially, it seems really nice. It does clump up a little bit and you get the 5 large lash look from it, so you have to take a comb and go through it to separate them, and it makes a nice big lash. But I just found that later in the day I was rubbing underneath my eye and I could feel the crispiness. It was just crispy. So when you get crispiness, you get flaking. And so I can't recommend the mascara, but I can say that it wasn't bad for what it is. I think it's kind of sweet that they're using an old school company like Tangi. The Tangi's famous product is actually their lipstick. It's the lipstick that changes and looks different on every person who puts it on. And on me, this, even though it looks like a bright orange, it actually goes pink with my DNA and my skin tone and everything. You can see right there, it's turned pink. Very much similar to the Lipstick Queen Frog Prince lipstick that goes from green to pink. Same idea, I think. It lasts a long time though. I'm very impressed with the longevity of this lipstick and how durable it is even after several coffees and you know, my whole day. So I think that it's a very good all-purpose lipstick. I'm not sure what it's going to look like on you, but I think it's a very pretty pinkish color, perfect for spring. So I do approve of the lipstick and I like it, and it's going to stay in my collection. Now the Tangi Compact Foundation, this was a cream to powder foundation, and unfortunately it only came in 3 shades. It was like White Girl Vermont, Medium White Girl Vermont, and Medium White Girl Vermont with a slight tan. That's all I could see with the color range. It really wasn't, because I bought the dark shade by mistake, and the dark shade really wasn't as dark as you would imagine. It was dark on me, but I'm just going to put that over the top here. It is a cream formula. You get a medium coverage, and it does go on like a cream. It goes on really nice. Very subtle, if any, scent to it. I would say if you had a normal to oily skin base, you would like this, but it didn't. And there is a mirror in this compact as well, and you get the little spongy thing that comes with it. I didn't think think it was all that great. I can't recommend it, even though it was only like $19 or $20. Tangi Cream to Powder Foundation. I think it's really good if you have normal skin, if you're a younger person, you don't have a lot of texture on your face. It did sink into lines. It did exaggerate pores, unfortunately. So I can't really recommend this for somebody who's older, who may have those deep set lines or, you know, a lot of texture under their eyes, because it did exaggerate those places. But there was good coverage. It did last quite a while. The wear down was natural wear down, but unfortunately I can't recommend it. Okay, this is the dryer ball. This is a wool ball that you throw in your dryer with your wet laundry, and as your wet laundry goes through the dry cycle, this bounces around and helps absorb the moisture out of the clothes, and it's also supposed to help with static cling. Well, I'm disappointed to say that it did not help with the static cling. My clothes still had static cling when I used this. I don't know, maybe you're supposed to use 2 of them. I don't know, maybe I just didn't get it right, but it didn't work for me. It did dry the clothes 7 minutes quicker. So I don't know. I think it's a great idea. What I wound up having to do was put a dryer sheet in with this for the anti-statics. It's kind of like taking away the whole reason that you get these things, but it did help dry the clothes quicker. So I talked about this mid-month, and I want to bring it up again because I really like it. This is the Olay Whip Light as Air Polishing Cream Cleanser. And what this is I usually wash my face with a different cleanser, and then I put this on, and you just, it looks like shaving cream almost, but you pump a little into a wet hand, and you foam it up, and then you, on your wet face, you rub it all in, and it exfoliates your skin, and then you rinse it off. I like to do this one in the shower because you get more water in more places, because the first time I used this was at the sink, and I didn't get it all off the edge of my face, and I had little white nits along the edge of my face that this leaves behind. This is a really good exfoliator, and my skin has never looked quite so good with makeup as it has since I started using this. So I totally do recommend this, and I probably will get the moisturizer. Got to save up a little bit. Game of Thrones. How many of you got up at 3 in the morning to go onto the Urban Decay website to order the Vault? The Game of Thrones Vault. I am so angry. How does that get sold out the second it goes online? Was it not there to begin with? Did 5 people get it? I mean, if any of you got the Vault from the Urban Decay website at 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time, let me know, because I can't believe it was sold out. I was all set. I mean, it's an expensive piece. I can't believe it. I wanted to do it. The Budman and I have some skits we're doing to this, and we have a lot of plans, and I couldn't do a thing because we didn't have any of the makeup. So now we have to wait till the 29th when Ulta has it. But you know, I know Ulta charges them a vendor fee of some sort. They get a percentage when they sell it. So since they didn't have enough of them to sell, or decided not to sell very many of them, Ulta will get kickback from it. So I'd rather do that than pay. I'll never go to Urban Decay's website again. That really pissed me off. I think that was just such poor planning. I mean, how do they sell out everything? No. I mean, it's the Vault. You know, I only want the Vault. I want all the pieces. We want to go through all the makeup. I want to show you what all the makeup looks like. I want to demonstrate it. And it just totally threw me off. I couldn't believe it. I saved money. I budgeted for this thing. Unbelievable. I had to try this, and you know, I have my history with Tarte. I like Tarte as a company. I thought they have a great, you know, I did a docutorial on them. I really like Jamie and the whole group. Yeah, this really was kind of a surprise. I had seen Naisha talk about it, and I thought, oh, I thought it was the same stuff that they came out with before. They just brought more shades in. But no, this is the Tarte Foundcealer, which is it's a new foundation from Tarte that it's not like the ones they released last year that caused all the controversy, you know, where they had 30 shades or whatever, and you know, like 20 of them were for white people. This is supposed to be a good coverage foundation slash concealer, and I actually was color matched to this. It has interesting packaging. You turn this big ring, this colorful ring, you just turn it to the left and this pops up, and then once you turn it to the left you hold it, and then once you press it down you get your product here. This is a really pretty makeup. It's a very pretty on. I did notice that it does like to settle into deep lines, so the second you get it spread on your face, and I think I liked putting it on with my fingers more so than with the sponge or the brush, but once I got it on, I immediately went and patted down all the lines because it sunk right into the St. Bernard lines. It sunk right in, you know, any place where I have a deep set line. But I patted it out. I powdered right away, and it is a really pretty foundation. And when it dries down over time, it still looks pretty. And it does try to migrate into your lines though, so make sure you set that really well with some powder. The second after you have it on, set that in, press your powder in really tight with your lines. I like it, and I have color number 22B, light beige. And that is it's a pretty color. It's just a very pretty color. It's on this side. I have something else on this side, but yeah, it's very pretty. And I think it's easy. I got color matched at Sephora. I returned something and I got this. They just love me over there. Yeah, Foundcealer. It has a nice kind of a less, it's not shiny, but it's not flat finish. It's a really pretty, looking like you just worked out or something kind of a look. It's a healthy skin look on it, and I do like it. The 22B is kind of a neutral to warm, and it's just a very light, I'm a medium light tone person, so it just matched me perfectly. They had several different tones in each division, so you have to be careful with the shades because they're all over the place as far as the numbers go, because you have to know your undertone. I have a slightly neutral to warm undertone. This one worked out really well for me, the 22B light beige. So I like it, and I may keep it in the collection. I think aside from that whole business with sinking into the deep set lines, maybe I can improve that with a primer. When I'm testing out a foundation, I don't like to use a primer underneath. I want to see what it does on its own first. But that's the Tarte Foundcealer. One thing I have been using under makeup is this. This is the Soft Focus Glow from Alani. I might have talked about it last month, but I don't want this to slip by you because I'm really loving this. And I always want to twist it off, and it even has a sticker on here that says pull it off the top, don't twist it. Everybody does it, and then they look at that, you know, the bottom of the twisty thing, and they're like, what is this? You know, how do I apply with this? But it's actually, it's a pump. It's a pump. So pour a little bit of this out. You don't need very much. And what it does is when you spread it on your face, you get a light glow, very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Glow. It's something to put underneath your makeup. I don't think it's good on its own. Some people like it on its own, but they must have perfect skin because it didn't look good on its own for me. But it does give you a nice healthy glow. And when you put makeup on over the top, some of that glow does come through, and as your makeup wears down, you've got this glow going, and it actually really looks nice. So the Milani Soft Focus Glow, this is the light shade. There is a darker, deeper shade as well. So I'm sure the deeper shade will be good, and for medium to deeper shade folks. This is the medium to light and I think you'll like that. Marc Jacobs just put out a new concealer. I had to try it because I swatched it on my hand and it seemed to work really well. It's a very thick, very pigmented concealer, and I had trouble opening it, and then it looks like it's a twist-up stick. So I'll show you what I did, and I'll just put it over the top of this. You see, it just went right over the top of that pink. So I did it like this, and it looked beautiful, and I thought, this is a fabulous concealer. So I tried to draw it, you know, underneath. I'll just do it. It's not going to look good now that I've done that. It pulls a little bit when you do that, but worse than that, if you happen to put it on and then maybe you powder your face or whatever, if you want to go back and retouch, you can't. This does not play well with others. If you can't put any powder over the top or anything over the top of this and then try to go back and put it back, because it just makes this swishy lace pattern horribleness. In fact, it probably is. If I get too close, you'll see it, but it's a very, very pigmented cream. I would say if you have acne, if you're looking to cover a severe age spot, you can use this. It didn't work well in my chin area, and that's why I'm going to be returning this, because I have a very red chin and there's large pores there, and it just made the pores look so much bigger, and I could not work them out. I couldn't work it out. Then when I tried to put powder over the top, it just seemed to make it worse. So I'm not happy with this, and I thought I would be because it's just so pretty and pigmented, and it's full coverage concealer. So maybe you will like this if you happen to have small pores, normal skin, not a lot of texture. But once you put it on there and you have it set, then you can put your light powder over the top. You can't do anything after that. You're good to go. So it covers really well, that's all I'm going to say, but it's not good for large pores or texture. So Marc Jacobs. I had to revisit a product that I hadn't tried in a while. I've kept it in the collection because I was going to use it in a demonstration of drugstore, you know, foundation someday. It wasn't bad, you know, and I thought, well, I'll keep it around, you know, just to have. This is the Kick-Ass All Day Wear foundation from Soap and Glory. And the reason I brought this out again and tried it this month is because there's been a siege of people talking about the CYO foundation, which I reviewed when it came out, I don't know, a couple years ago. There's an old review somewhere in my videos where the CYO was reviewed. And I liked it very much. It's very difficult to find. I have to order it online if I get it, because they don't have it in any of my local Walgreens, which is the store that carries it. Now, CYO makeup is made from the Boots company. It was a kind of a collaboration between Walgreens drugstores and Boots drugstores in the UK, and they created the CYO foundation, and I liked it. I thought it was great. It had slightly gray undertone, the lighter shades. This is shade number 2, or the 102. And this is the Soap and Glory, and it's just really strange, but the ingredients are exactly the same as the CYO foundation, and also they're made in the same factory. So I think it is the same product, just packaged differently. This one is $16. I'm not sure how much the CYO, I think, is much less. I think it's like $6 or $7. So if you're going to get either of these, I would suggest you get the CYO one, because that one is the cheaper of the two with the same thing. You can see there's a slightly cool tone, undertone. This is a great foundation if you are not a warm-toned person, because it does tend to be more neutral, cool. So there's a lot of people who are looking for that, because most foundations tend to go warm or golden. So this is a real reprieve, and the people who like this the most, I think, are people who have that cool tone, undertone. So this is, I like it. I think it's a great foundation. This is more expensive than the CYO though, so I really do think they are the same. And so again, if you have access to the CYO, try that. It's a really good drugstore foundation, especially the cool tone folks. And then the Kick-Ass for those of you who can't get the CYO or don't want to wait, you're too lazy to wait for it to come in the mail, or you can't see it. I like to look at shades right there in the store. I don't like to order things like this online because you don't know what shade you're getting. and I often goof up there. So the Kick-Ass from Soap and Glory. They have the funniest names for their products, a little bit on the edge there, but some people don't like that. But I got this a month or so ago. I don't think I've talked about it before. This is the 2-in-1 Brow Sculpting Crayon and Setting Gel from Soap and Glory. And this comes in a tube. And I have the blonde shade, and I remembered I bought it a while ago and I wasn't that crazy about it. It's because it is so subtle. You can barely see the color there. You can see a little bit of brownness. It has that angled thing, so you can make really nice little like grassy brow-like hairs. And then when you're done drawing, you can go into the other side, which you unscrew, and it is a setting gel and a spoolie. So you can go through, which is nice, you can go through and get your brows in shape. And it holds them pretty well. I'm pretty impressed. It's a clear gel, so all of the color is in the crayon part, but it holds your brows into their shape really well throughout the day. And I like it if you have very pale skin and you've lost the hair in your eyebrows and you don't want anything too drastic. This is a great shade. It's like a light taupe color, and I think you can get a much more natural looking brow. It's not so in your face dark with this color, the blonde shade. So I like it very much. I forgot to talk about the blush from Tangi, and I got that at the Vermont country store. The blush is in one color. That's supposed to be universally good on everyone. And it is a strong color, but just a teeny bit goes a long way. It doesn't come with a brush or anything. You have to use, I think just using a little dot on your finger will give you quite a bit of color. So I put a little dot there, and then I just kind of smush it around with my hand. You could see it gave me quite a lot of color from that one little dot. This will last your whole natural lifetime. I do like this very much. And it's a very pretty, fresh, kind of a corally color. It's just a pretty, I would say more of an evening blush color than a daytime, because it's a little bit strong for the daytime, but I think at night, at dinner, you'll look very, very pretty and dressed up. So the Tangi, there's just one shade, the Tangi Blush. And this runs, how does this run? I don't know how much it is. Not much. So, and you can get this at the Vermont country store, and you can get it online from them as well. And I will link the video I did when the Budman and I visited the Vermont country store if you want to go shopping there. Which, you know, when you get those catalogs in the mail from the Vermont country store, it only shows you maybe a quarter of what's actually in the store. You wouldn't believe all the extra things that are in the store that you didn't even know about. So I just love going through there. It's a trip down memory lane. It's fun. I never leave with an empty hand. And they're very good about returns. Believe it or not, I actually returned something there. It was a foundation. When I had bought the dark foundation by mistake, I returned it, and they were so good about it. They apologized. I swapped it out for the light shade, and now I'm thinking I might have liked the medium better, but I'm not going to do it to them. So, Tangi, old-fashioned makeup brand. Many of your moms, your grandmoms would remember this. And this is the blush. It's just shade 1, shade A, the shade. I got probably one of the prettiest reds. I think this is my red. This is from Lancome. This is the L'Absolu Rouge, and the color is Sienna Ultime, number 120. This, I don't know why, I was swatching the Lancome lipsticks, and they're just so luxurious. You push down on the top, pushes down, and it pushes this down, and then you've got this, and it's a beautiful, beautiful red. This is a year-long color you can wear. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I might as well. I'll put it on. Let me just do that. I think this is my red. It's kind of a nude red. It's a subtle red. It's not a real bright red. It's just a nice healthy color. And I think it goes more onto the nude side, but I think I could wear this all seasons, and because I don't like to wear darker lipsticks. I'm really like nervous about that, but I do like this very much. Sienna Ultime is the color, and that's from Lancome. And it's just a divine formula. It's really nice, and the lipstick tube itself is very elegant, so I feel very special using it. I didn't feel so special using this, and I'm not a big fan of L'Oreal, but I will look at their products because I know they interest you, so I will take a hit for the team, so to speak. This is the JLo Nude, and it's been a while since these have been out, and I think I may have tried this at one other time because I liked JLo. This is the JLo Nude, so heavily perfumed. This is what I had on before I put the sienna on, but this is the JLo Nude. It's a very, very strong scent, which I don't like, and I can't keep this in my collection because of the scent. But it is a pretty color. It's a pretty nude. It has a nice wear down. The formulation's good. If you can handle that smell, I don't like the smell. The lipstick tube it's a soft feel, almost like a velvet. It's a very, and it's not, but it's just a luxurious kind of feel to it, and it has JLo's autograph on it right there. So that's the JLo Nude, and I didn't talk about it in my best of nudes, my top favorite nudes lipsticks, because I don't like it, so it didn't make it into the cut. A lot of my nude lipsticks didn't make it into the cut, so this is the JLo Nude from L'Oreal. I want to talk about this because I haven't talked about it since it arrived in my Lucky Bag. My Lucky Bag was from the Beautylish company. They do it every December. You order it in December and it arrives like mid-January, and they put mystery items in. You don't know what you're getting. You just pay $75 and they send you a box of stuff. And this was in it. This is the Wayne Goss number 13 brush. This is the most amazing face brush I've ever used, and I got it in the Beautylish bag. I would never have tried it because I always think brushes that cost so much really aren't worth it because you can find them. You can really tell the difference in this. This is unbelievable. Once you use a brush like this, it's really hard to go back and use others. I've put cream foundations on, powder foundations, blush, contour, highlighter, and powder. I have used every face product you can think of with this except concealer. This is a wonderful brush. It's wonderful. And it's a Wayne Goss number 13. And I think it's a good all-purpose brush. Honestly, I feel that I could put 3 of these in. Have one for my foundation, have one for my blush, and one for my contour. And I wouldn't need anything else. I think this is just amazing. Amazing. So I did want to bring it up because I really like it. This is number 7, and I wanted to talk about it again. I think I might have, these are the Match Made Custom Blend Drops from number 7, and I have the shade Cool Vanilla. And these are drops similar to my Derma Blend drops that you add to, you can either use them straight on their own, or you can add them to moisturizers or primers and give them color so that when you put them on they will look like foundation, but it's custom to your moisturizer, your primer, whatever your situation is. You can just work them right in. Now, I always found, like the CYO and Soap and Glory, I find that it is a slightly cool tone. There is a cool toned undertone to this, but I like this very much, and it did blend really well with my primers. I used it with the NYX Hydrating Primer and created like a custom foundation. It was like a BB cream or something, you know, it was really good. So I do like these. I recommend them because you don't use very much, even though it's a tiny little bottle. It's got a lot in there for a tiny little bottle, and you don't use very much each time. It's not like a foundation where you would squirt out, you know, like a dime's worth. With this, you only put a couple of drops, and you can do your whole face with just a couple of drops. I mean, I put 4 drops here, and it's way too much here, but you can see there's a coolness, almost a gray tone to the coloring compared to, you know, my own skin tone. Let me move my hand up so it's not quite so veiny. But you can see it's very cool. The cool vanilla is the color on that. I like that. I think it's great. I decided to go back in time and use some products that I used to love. And I used to wear, even before I did YouTube videos, I used to wear this was my favorite mascara for many years. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous. This is the original mascara, and I hadn't used it in a while. I think it won my 2013 Mascara of the Year because I didn't know any better. I hadn't tried a whole lot of others. This was great. Well, I thought I would try it because I hadn't tried it in a while. It went on nice. It made a nice kind of little, you know, lash. But then we had a hot day here in Connecticut, which does not happen very often in springtime. We had a very warm day, and I was sweating because I was overdressed for the day, and so I was hot. And when I got out of the car, I happened to look in the mirror, and boy, all these little dings all up on my eyelid from this. It does not survive heat. You get the little dings because you're blinking all the time, and if you have a hooded eye, or your eyes are sunken in a little bit and you've got this overhang of bone, your lashes are blinking up against it, and this blinked the lash mascara right up onto the bone. So I had all of these little teeny lines and dots just above my eye, which irritates me. So it is total fail now. I know why I liked it. I know that it was great initially, but I never noticed all the little dings that it gave me, or that other mascaras would not do that. So Voluminous is no longer part of my mascara collection. This is on Facebook right now, in many feeds. This is the Cover Perfection Magic Concealer, and I did show that there is a little video with a lady that goes like this, and she's got tattoos on her hands, and they take this and they just kind of paint it onto her hand, and it erases age spots and things. So I'm just going to, let me see here. I have an age spot. If I have an age spot here, I can show you. Yeah, there's one. Okay. So I'll just do that. The color I got is medium, and it's supposed to be a concealer, but they also show it as a foundation. And I just found that it was way too patchy as a foundation, but it did work really well covering as a concealer. And this is the medium shade, so I think they tend to they run a little bit lighter than what you would think they're going to be. So this is the medium, and I would say it's more of a light. There's a pink undertone to this, so there is a brightening quality to it. I liked it under my eyes. I thought it worked really well as a concealer, but don't even think about it for a foundation. It's only $15. I think normally it's $25. They have a Facebook special at $15, and then they bother you with emails, spamming you with emails afterwards. That's OMNI is the name of the brand, OMNI Beauty, and it is Cover Perfection, the Magic Concealer. So, and this is shade medium. I received a book in the mail, and I'm not a huge voracious reader. I do like to read like makeup books and magazines and, you know, Women's World and things like that, instructional books, things like that. But this is called A Mother's Love, and this is by Betty Rose Woody. Rose in Georgia is one of my viewers, and this is Rose in Georgia. I was really surprised because she said she wrote this book called A Mother's Love, and I was thinking, oh, you know, it's probably, you know, just some, not cheesy, but I thought it was just going to be some like unprofessional kind of book. And so I started to read it, and I couldn't put it down. I mean, it's I'll just read you the back of this because I was so surprised, and to see her in, you know, the comments and stuff, you would never know that she's been through this. A Mother's Love. In this vivid, poignant memoir, Betty Rose Woody chronicles her turbulent childhood with a mother suffering from narcissistic personality disorder. Years later, she would realize that the events of her childhood had given her post-traumatic stress disorder. Even though her mother had injured her in so many ways, Betty Rose was determined to discover the truth behind the disorder that turned her mother into a monster. She looked back on her mother's own impoverished childhood, facing prejudice as a Native American. Her father was always drunk, and she eventually sent to an orphanage right out of a Dickens novel. Betty Rose traces NPD through her own childhood and painful coming of age, ultimately offering a message of hope. And then it talks about Betty Rose. I always call her Rose in Georgia because that's her title in on YouTube. But I'm going to link this below if you're interested in this. It's a very fascinating story. I was reading about it, and she was like 11 years old, and she ran away from home, and she was hitchhiking, and some of the problems she ran into, and absolutely fascinating reading. So A Mother's Love, and that is our own Rose in Georgia, and hopefully she'll see this and she'll comment below and you can comment to it. But I totally recommend this. This is not an expensive book at all. Definitely worth reading, and I will link it below. So, and thank you, Rose, for sending this to me. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and I feel like I know you way more than I've known anybody who's written to me before. My next video will be the Easter giveaway video, and I will demonstrate all the things that I'm going to be giving away, and I will tell you how you can enter the contest, and then in 1 week's time we will do the drawing. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Have a really nice holiday weekend. If you're celebrating Easter this week, I hope you have a really nice one. I'm going to be at a charity event tomorrow with my pecan pies, and I'm going to be making a cherry pineapple pie as well, so with my little pie bird. So everybody, have a wonderful week. Take care. Toodles.